Well, divorce is a tough topic for any family to deal with, but it can be especially hard for kids. Joining us this morning to help us talk to kids about divorce is licensed social worker and president and CEO of Daniel Memorial, Jim Clark. So, sadly, we see, divorce rates climbing.
Yes,
and a lot of times, kids are forgotten about in all this, right?
They are, and of course, children are impacted or involved in about 60% of all divorces, and so it's one of the most painful things, that process, and it's really one of the most important for parents to come together beforehand and communicate what they're going to talk to the children about and how they're going to present that information before they actually do it with them. One of the things I encourage people to do actually is usually get a counselor, particularly if there's really a lot of difficulty or animosity between the two parents. Then they really need to have a counselor that can help them through this mediation process, because it's really better for both parents to talk to the children themselves.
Is it important to make the child or children feel like they don't have to choose sides?
Absolutely, absolutely. And all children will typically feel that they're the blame for this.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the things that parents really need to emphasize. You're not to blame. This is something between mommy and daddy. This is something that's very unfortunate. You had nothing to do with it. We still love you unconditionally. We're still a family. There may be some slight changes, but some things will stay the same. So it's really important to encourage the children to be able to communicate, but also to try to keep some stability in their life at the same time.
And it's important for both parents to stay involved in their children's life.
Absolutely. One of the things that can easily happen is suddenly you become, you've heard the term Disneyland dad or Disneyland mom. It's really important for the parents, if they're going to have healthy children, to communicate as a united front to try to help their children. One of the things I tell people, too, to be very cautious of is be careful of talking bad about your spouse.
Right.
Even though you may have reasons to do that, you need to be very, very careful of doing that, because it's going to have lifelong impact. And so what we do, we try to encourage people to let the children know that they're not the problem. Make sure that they have some kind of system to try to make sure that they're communicating regularly. And one of the things I think that it's very helpful is to always have a counselor or a social worker or a priest, a good friend, whatever, to help in some of that process.
A lot of times, kids won't want to show it's bothering them because they see it's bothering mom and dad. It's important for parents to realize that even if kids say, I'm fine, it doesn't bother me, that it is bothering them.
Sure, there's some obvious signs, excessive moodiness, ongoing, prolonged depression, school grades, things of that sort. One of the things that parents need to do is, again, as you identified, is make sure you have that open degree of communication. Make sure you have a topic in which you can talk about. How are you doing, Susie? How are you doing, Tim? I know this is really kind of tough right now, that what we're going through. So those are trying to keep that open dialogue is really an important factor. And I can't say enough how important it is for both parents to try to do their best to communicate with their children.
All right.
We
Thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it. We're running out of time. That's it for hour number 1 of the morning show. Hour number 2 starts in a minute. Beck and I are back. We'll see you then.